Okay, guys. Hi, how's it going? So, I went and I actually had to check in with probation the other day. And my probation officer and I had discussed me making these videos, and a conversation came to mind. It was about how she oversees a lot of younger people. Well, I might want to add in there, I guess she's not really my probation officer. She was a juvenile probation officer who was filling in for mine. And she said that she might use these videos one day as a motivational reference for young adolescents who are having problems with substance abuse and that ultimate king baby, queen baby syndrome of I need what I need now, I want it, and it's not. Okay, so here's my opinion on this. I was young once too. Actually, still kind of am young, but I was that young, naive, very self-centered person at one point in time too, which I think is normal for all teenagers at some point, but also there is a limit to it, depending on the structure and the stability and the boundaries and the accountability you were taught as a child. Um, my biggest thing that I want to put out there is no matter what age you are, thinking that you're under the age of 18, so you're just gonna keep getting caught. You're just gonna keep doing your thing, running the streets, gunning, being this wannabe thug that you think you are with your pants hanging down off your bum. Let me tell you what my perception is of that now today with recovery. Because I was that girl who saw this bad boy on the street corner and he had his pants hanging off his butt with his butt hanging out, and I thought there was a time that I thought that was cool. But let me tell you what I really enjoy in recovery. I enjoy a man who has his pants all the way up and he's not showing his butt crack to the world. I enjoy a man with a job and a stable home. I enjoy being able to contribute to that stable home and be independent because trying times, there's, as sad as it is to say, there's a lot of relationships out there that are not healthy whatsoever. So much dysfunction, so much passive aggressiveness, and so much drama. And so a lot of the time those relationships are not very successful, to be honest with you. So girls, if you're gonna be chasing guys with big chains around their necks and the butts hanging out and their chain wallet hanging on them and their tats all over them, not saying tattoos are bad, but when they're representing some street life with pot leaves and stuff on them, then let me tell you where that's going to end up. That boy is not going to be serious about any relationship because he's not even serious about himself. To be honest, he doesn't know what he wants. He doesn't know what he even desires. He doesn't know anything right now. He's young and dumb, like we all are, you know. So let me tell you where that's going to end up. He's either going to leave you for someone else because you're not good enough, or B, he's going to beat the crap out of you. And it's going to be a just constant vicious cycle of dysfunction and abuse and drama that is never going to end. You want peace and you want forgiveness and you want humility and you want integrity and honesty and loyalty, then that is something you have to give back to. And that is something you have to get. You have to set that boundary down. You have to lay down the line because you teach people how to treat you. That's the bottom line. Someone can treat you bad. And I'm not sitting here saying that everybody that you come across is going to treat you good, because they're not. That's just the bottom line. People are going to betray you. People you love are going to betray you. People you hate are going to betray you even worse. It hurts when people you love betray you, but let me tell you, you're teaching those people how to treat you. If you allow people to call you names, degrade you, treat you like crap, and beat you up, then that is exactly what they're going to do. But if you lay that law down and you lay that boundary down that this is not going to happen and I am better than this and I deserve better than this, then people are going to see that. And toxic people are going to have a way of disappearing. They don't like it. Misery loves company. And if misery can't find company, misery flees the scene real quick, let me tell you. So For all you young people out there that think, oh, because I'm under the age of 18, I can keep running, I can keep gunning. And when I turn 18, all that crap underneath there is just going to disappear. Well, let me tell you first off from living proof and experience right here. I was that 17, 16, 15. Hell, I was even the 12-year-old who thought the same thing. Thought the same exact thing. When I turn 18, my record is going to be absolutely wiped clean and I'm going to start a new slate. Well, let me tell you something. When I got bigger, the cycle of addiction is so vicious that it doesn't just let you go at 18 and you have a fresh start. That's not how this works. Substance abuse is evil, violent, and it is very, very controlling, and it takes total control of you, your outer body, your inner self, your mind, all your friends, all your family. Everybody will suffer from it. Bad. And when I say bad, I mean very bad. I have said before in other videos that I was that super mom. I was that woman who looked down on the drug addict on the street corner or the alcoholic who didn't have nothing to live for but booze and drugging and living the life on the streets because that's the only people they knew that would give them the attention that they wanted. Well, let me tell you, toxic people like toxic people. Healthy people find each other and they communicate with each other and they like healthy people. So what are you going to settle for? Are you going to settle for that thug on the street corner who's never going to give you a damn thing in your life? Not nothing. Maybe a bunch of babies that he's not going to help you take care of. And this goes for the guys too, with girls, because not always are girls and guys just the ones at fault. There's a lot of girls out there that are very codependent. And a lot of that has to do with a lot of, childhood trauma. A lot of, having parents involved or not involved that are just really not involved. Like for me personally, my dad and my mom, they lived with me my entire life. But my parents were so distant from me that I felt abandoned, whether they were there or not. I could never tell them anything. I could not trust them. It was just something that we didn't do in my house. We don't show emotion. We don't show feelings. We weren't allowed to do any of that. And when we did, we got pretty much beat. I'm not going to say pretty much. I got beat for it. I was a 5-year-old who would cry because I got in trouble. And, my father would come storming in the room and beat me just because I cried too loud and he couldn't hear the TV. So I grew up with those, I guess what you guys would call it nowadays is those daddy issues, So I ended up starting to find those guys that would give me that attention that I so desperately wanted, but I just couldn't find anywhere else, and I never had. So I surrounded myself with those thugs, gangsters, tweakers, drunks, and I'm not trying to label people here, but, let's, in all rationality, we are labeled as drug addicts, as alcoholics, as codependents, fat, skinny, it doesn't matter. Everybody's going to have a label for the rest of their life. That's just the bottom line. So as I got older, I started to find that attention in those people, those guys. And I liked it. I wasn't getting it anywhere. And that is exactly how my substance abuse took off tenfold. I was self-sabotaging myself and I didn't even know it. And that is where denial is coming in. For all you young people out there who think that you are not sabotaging yourself at all by running the streets, using drugs, hurting your family and your loved ones, let me tell you, you are sabotaging yourself. This whole addiction is a vicious, very, very vindictive and selfish cycle. And it is something you are not going to just turn 18 and it's going to just poof, disappear. It's not that simple. It really is not. I'm living proof, and along with many, many other recovered addicts, even people who are still on the streets and still using today, we are an example. Because let me tell you, when I turned 18, my charges didn't disappear. I racked up some more. And let me tell you, when I went to court for those charges, exactly every single one of those juvenile offenses that I had attained as a juvenile had popped up. Maybe not, maybe they didn't stick, but that record is still there. It is definitely there. And once you are labeled as a drug addict, and once you have been on the streets long enough for everyone to know your face and know your name, that label don't go away unless you work for it. And there's only one way to work for it, and that's recovery. That's just the bottom line. You got to go to meetings. You got to work the steps. You got to have a sponsor, and you've got to get some help. Because, like it or not, we as addicts have a lot of pride, and we like to tell ourselves, oh, I could kick this any day, anytime. I'm the one in control. Well, let me be the first or maybe the millionth person to tell you this, but you might want to listen real close. You are not in control at all. Once you are in that vicious cycle is in control. My question to you is whether or not you are going to allow this vicious cycle to continue. Are you sick and tired of being miserable, running the streets all hours of the night looking for your next fix, betraying your children, your family, your parents, anyone you hold close, your closest friends? Are you tired of it yet? Because let me tell you, this vicious cycle has a very, very big success rate in returning your misery. You want to go out there and you want to run and gun and you want to be Mr. Tough Guy, Mrs. Tough Girl, it's going to come back and it's going to refund your misery. It is. Bottom line. And you can't sit there and tell me I don't know what I'm talking about, because I'm living example of it. I lived a life of abuse, neglect, and I lived the life of crime and drugs. I've tried just about every drug there is known to man, because I was that girl who didn't care what it was. People come up to me and ask me what's my drug of choice, and I say it depends what you got. I was that girl. And so I am an example to be definitely taken into consideration. But let me tell you a little bit about what I found in my recovery, okay? I went back into all my history as a child, every moment of abuse, every moment of neglect, every bad feeling I'd ever experienced, every trauma that I've ever lived, and I dealt with it. Let me tell you why. Because recovery is like that. It is a badass program, and it gives you inner peace, a sense of self-worth, and it gives you success, and it gives you just everything you could ever imagine. All those successful people that we look up to, doctors, lawyers, cops, addiction doesn't discriminate. But let me tell you why they are where they are today is because they got their shit together. That's just plain and simple. You don't go far in life if you don't work for it. You can't sit there and expect recovery to just land on top of you and all your problems are gone and everything's going to be peachy keen from this point on, because that's not how this program works. Addiction is always, someone had once told me, and it was from one of my counselors, and it is something that has stuck with me my entire recovery process so far, and it is to remember your addiction is always doing push-ups behind you. There's two sides to you now that you're an addict. You're addicted, self-centered, evil, just sadistic freaking mind. And then you've got your positive, humble, full of integrity, honest, love, all on the other side. Okay? The white wolf and the dark wolf is what we call them. Okay? The way I see it is you can either feed one or the other, because you can't feed them both. I mean, let's just put it this way. The more you feed that black wolf, the weaker that white wolf is going to get, because he's going to starve. And so my question, I guess, is to you is, who are you feeding today? Are you feeding your humble, loving, amazing side, your inner self? Or are you feeding that fake, evil, selfish addict on the other side that is just devouring every sense of inner peace you've ever had? You might feel like you're at peace right now, and you might feel like the most amazing person. You're on top of the world. You're full of power and control. Everybody likes you. They don't like you. Okay. They don't like you. They like what you're bringing to the table. Because I guarantee the minute you stop bringing that to the table, they're not going to be there anymore. But the good thing about that is as soon as you stop bringing drama to the table, drama leaves the table. And you get to choose what you are going to serve at your table from this point forward. And you, by serving good stuff to that said table that you are sitting at, you will attract people that want the same thing as you. Recovery is so amazing because you are never alone. There is always going to be thousands and millions and trillions of whatever you want to say. And there's always going to be so many addicts out there. But how many of us actually have found recovery to the fullest extent of our inner self, internalized it, and manifested into something beautiful? Because you can be a story of success and you can be that miracle that everybody looks at as, dang, that person came so far, came from the pits of hell, holding hands with the devil himself, and looked him in the eye and said, no more. I want better people in my life. I want success. I want a high school diploma. I want a marriage with children that I'm going to be around and take care of, not children I'm just going to have and dump. What exactly do you want? What is your purpose? What do you desire in life? What are your values? Do you value honesty? Because so many people in the game talk about how they value real, true loyalty and respect and honesty, right? Well, if you focus so much more on the aspect in the positive area of honesty, humility, and loyalty, then you probably wouldn't be so confused as to why you're getting burnt and dumped on and left and just degraded. Maybe you would understand what the true value of integrity and honesty really is. Honesty is something that is very, very important in the life of recovery. You have to be able to honestly be humble enough to admit every single fault in your life, put all your trauma on the table, all your thinking errors, all your issues that you have with people, your resentments. Resentments is a big one. Resentments will keep us definitely very sick. And I'm not going to sit here and say I'm perfect, because to this day, almost 2 years of sobriety, I still carry a lot of resentment and I'm still filtering through. But you know what I've got? I might have a lot of resentment, but let me tell you, I have a strong determination to tackle those resentments and to find inner peace for me and others around me. That's the bottom line. Recovery is a selfish program. You either want it or you don't. And when you do, you have to reevaluate every situation and every person in your life. Are they healthy for you or are they not? Is this person going to inspire you? Is this person going to motivate you? Is this person going to be by your side no matter what? But don't get that confused, because, just use my husband as an example. I always thought, this guy's going to be here no matter what. I could go to prison. I could beat him up. I can do whatever I want, steal from him. And he's never going to leave me. I've got it made, right? But what you don't know is that eventually runs out. Because yes, my husband is a guy that would never leave me no matter what. That walked through hell with me, holding my hand, faced the devil eye to eye with me. And I still proceeded to crap all over him, use what I could to my advantage. And let me tell you, there comes a time where that will run out and you will regret every single minute of it. Because here I am today, sitting here talking to you, and I regret every single thing I've ever done to that man. You will get sober one day. But my question to you is it going to be because of you? Or is it going to be because of the cops, the judge, basically any judicial system? Or are you going to die? Because there's no other way. The ultimate The ends are always the same for us: jails, institutions, and death. Is all this running and gunning and being this bad thug really worth all that? And I know for some of you out there, death isn't scary. Because for me, it wasn't for quite some time either. I thought, I don't got anybody anyway. Everybody thinks I'm a failure. So I might as well just go do what I do best and prove everybody right. They want you to prove them right. There are some people out there that don't want you to prove them right. You got your family, your kids, your loved ones, and those are ultimately the ones that we are going to destroy the most. But let me tell you, that game, that street out there, doesn't care if you're alive or dead. Doesn't care if you're hungry or homeless or broke. It just does not care about you at all. And you can laugh and you can snicker and you can grin all you want to at me, but let's just face it. Deep down in your inner self, even if you're high out of your mind right now, you know that I'm right. That street don't care about you. Didn't care about me. Never got me anywhere. But jail, institution, and almost dead. If you put half as much effort into your recovery as you put into your addiction, you've got a chance. Because I know for me, the effort I put into my addiction was outstanding. I remember a point in time where I actually was awake for 26 days. 26 days with no sleep. And for some reason, I thought hallucinating and seeing zombies and freaking out and PTSD and overdrive, I thought that was cool. Okay, well, what's really cool about, watching some chick spaz out because she's hallucinating on crack? Like, for me, it was nothing but misery. And I hope one day that a lot of you, if you are still using, can come to the conclusion that this is doing more harm for you, your inner self and your peace, than it is anything else. It's not bringing you justice. It's not bringing you good friends. It's not bringing you anything at all, except a high. And I mean, let me tell you, when that high wears off, you're right back at square one, running the streets. And let me tell you, when my supply ran out, it was rough. It was extremely rough. And it never stops running out. You're going to run out again and again and again. And you're going to be looking and looking and looking. And you're going to be broke. And you're going to be stealing. And you're going to be betraying people that really care about you and really want to hold your hand through this and be there for you. So it kind of inspires me to think about young people who are still falling off and still making bad choices. I really, really wish that you could see this now. If I knew then, when I was young, what I know now, my life would be totally different than what it is today. And I have used so many justifications to why I would run around and use. And it's really all just a bunch of nonsense. Like I said before, you teach people how to treat you. So how people are treating you is your fault and no one else's. I can't stress that enough. People are always going to treat us bad, but what we allow to rob us of our inner peace and be a part of our daily life and how we function and how we think and process, that is 100% our responsibility. And I did not realize that until I got sober. But let me tell you how great it is to know that I am responsible for my thinking patterns. I am responsible for my feelings. And I'm not saying feelings are not just sporadic and they're just not going to come and you're not going to feel them, because you are. Grief is one. But let me tell you, the last thing I want to do is go when someone I love dies, is to go bury them high off my mind. I just had a death in my family, actually a few since I got sober. And as much as people don't like to feel sad and they don't like to feel grief, I was so grateful for the opportunity to sit at that funeral and feel sad for once. And that's something you'll find in recovery is the ability to be grateful for your emotions, embrace them and validate them. It's normal to have sad days. It's normal to be upset and angry. It's normal to be joyful and happy. But our response and our actions on every single one of those emotions is definitely 100% our responsibility. And knowing that I am 100% responsible for my actions and my side of the street and making sure that I can go to bed at night, knowing that my side of the street was clean and I did everything that I needed to do for me and my recovery. And I wake up the next day and I'm still freaking sober and I still have a job and I still have my family by my side. The feeling is absolutely insanely amazing. I can't sit here and preach to you guys enough how much recovery has done for me. And I hope to God that a lot of you young people out there, you figure it out way before I did. Because if I'd have known then what I know now, like I said before, I would be so much better right now. And that's not even an understatement at all. But I want you to know, guys, there are people out there just like you, and there are young people just like I was who think we're invincible and we're untouchable and we're so smart and you're not smart by using drugs. Smart is when you put the drug down and you seek help like you need to. That's wisdom right there. Being able to be humble and honest and show integrity and work hard for something in your life. That is what goes noticed. Everything else is just drama for people to stew up and talk about. So are you stirring that pity pot or are you pulling that spoon out and washing it off? Because that's just the bottom line. But I am extremely tired because I have worked 3 days in a row and they were all like 14, 15-hour shifts. So I'm extremely tired, but it is really nice to be able to have somebody to inspire some sort of a video for me because this is kind of new to me. So if you're young and dumb and addicted like me, you know what you got to do. Like, pull your head out of your behind, put your pants up where they belong, take the chains off, cover your dope tattoos up, and move forward with your life. Or go back out on that street. You might as well kill yourself because that's what you're doing anyway. But just know if you do find recovery, there are people like me who are absolutely 100% willing to be a mentor or sponsor and guide you through it because recovery has done miraculous things for us. And those of us in the fellowship, we want nothing more than to be able to share our experience, strength, and hope with every single person that we can. And this is my way, sharing my experience, my strength, and my hope. You're not invincible. You're just not invincible, and you're not smarter than the law. The ball's in your court, friends. I'm going to cut this off now, though. It was great talking to you guys. And I'm sorry my internet's kind of flaky right now, but I guess, hey, what can I say? I'm grateful for the fact that I even have internet. I'm grateful for the fact that I have my children, and I'm grateful that I get to feel again, and I'm grateful that I get to sleep again, and I'm grateful that I have a wallet full of cash because I don't spend it on dope. And I am ultimately grateful for my sobriety, my recovery team. Shout out to them when they see this because I know they will, but I'm not naming names. Shout out to everybody who's working a program, an honest program, and who's legit trying to get their stuff together because I am right there with you. And I admire you. Newcomer, old timer, it don't matter. I admire you so much. And you are a miracle. Every single one of us are. So with that, I guess I love you guys, and I hope you have a good night. Stay clean, stay recovery happy and motivated, and keep stepping forward. It gets easier, I promise. Bye.